All right, back again with another Moonkin Monthly. I am joined this week by Goosey Druid, and of course we have Nick. Goosey, give us a little bit of introduction. Who are you? What do
I'm a raider in Vodkaz. I'm a guide writer for DreamGrove.gg, and I'm also an expert in the Dreamgrove. That's basically it.
Second string
you?
expert.
Yeah, I mean, I
What?
think we give expert to anybody these days.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
that's
you
true.
have it.
I'm a moderator.
I guess they give
I'm
anybody
a
a
man.
moderator
I'm
now.
a man of
You're
class and
surrounded by
culture.
moderators,
Please.
okay? Be
They
careful
give
what you
anybody a
say.
moderator now.
No, that's not true. What do you mean?
Wait,
mean,
you
you
just
got
made the
Nick
same
and-
joke. You just made the same
Yeah.
joke I made.
All right, well,
All right. And Nick, where are you from, brother?
I'm from Germany, as you didn't expect. I'm writing in a version still, probably not changing for a while. Still a mod in Dreamgrove. Yeah.
Yeah, and as always, I'm Tettle's balance moderator, Arathian Knight Raider, clown.
Clown.
Kobold.
Biggest clown in Dreamgrove, pretty much.
All right. And we got a shout out for our Patreon subscribers. We have Nexi, Nevernude, Arui, Mr. Sliggy, Pixel, Hamflaps, Gaysu, Taters, and Krona. Thank you guys so much for your support
thanks
over
a
at
bunch.
Patreon. Yeah, really appreciate it. Goose, you got anything to say about those guys?
I like Taters. He's a nice guy.
Wow.
Thank you. All right. So first topic we got, what do we do for the community? What is wrong with Goosey Druid? So we kind of hit on what we do for the community. But we got to answer, what is wrong with Goosey Druid?
Nothing.
Nick, would you
I
like to
told you
start?
before we started recording.
Mm.
Nothing. Nothing is wrong with Goosey Druid.
The time since I
Alright.
made him a regular, he went a really wrong way. I don't know. He turned like, how do you say? He's weird. That's all he says. He's like he's like Tells Junior, pretty much, you know.
All right,
What?
that's
Tettles
what the
Jr.
fuck.
In a bad way,
Alright.
not in a good way.
What's the good way of being Tettles Jr.?
I don't know. I
How is
I
there a
don't
good
think
way?
there's a good way of being
Wait,
Tells
where's the
Junior.
wrong way? Wait a second.
What do you mean?
mean,
What's the wrong way? The
You,
entire
you
way is
didn't
the
die
wrong
to
way.
Scovite 3 times in a row yet, so you're still better than Tells. But
Yeah, that's true.
no, but jokes aside, you're doing good, Goosey. Beat David
Yeah.
Q in
And that's
DPS,
gross.
you're owning, man.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You
Always
still
good
gotta
to see you on
catch
the
up to the EUs, but that's normal. I feel you, as an NA player, not people. It's hard to catch up to the EU people.
Yeah. All right. So as for a little bit more serious topic, we got patch 8.1. So patch 8.1 released second week of December. So we're about 2 weeks away from the patch's release. And so first thing we're going to really talk about are kind of what are the impacts overall. So how we're going to unpack this is basically the mastery coefficient got changed for Star Surge and Solar Wrath, making our single target damage a little bit stronger overall. We have the addition of Arcanic Pulsar. Arcanic Pulsar is a new Azerite trait. One of the best Azerite traits in the game for pretty much any class. Balanced Druid, it's very, very good just as a single target, like a one-off trait. Twin Moon got a pretty sizable nerf. 50% on the dot damage, down from 20% to 10%. Power of the Moon and High Noon got changed from direct damage to damage over time. So let's kind of unpack this in piece by piece. So what are the impacts overall? So first off, we got the mastery coefficient change. Goosey, what do you think about that change overall?
It's just, it kind of like the buff to AoE with it kind of slashes out the TM nerf or the Twin Moons nerf. So we're kind of even on AoE now. On single target, it's a very big buff. It's very big, like 1.5k like sim DPS big. Very big.
Besides damage, it makes gearing way easier for us, because
Yeah, that
like
too.
all of our
It's a lot
stats
more
are
convenient.
pretty much even now, besides haste probably, and of course
That's
item level.
Yeah, and that's something I've seen a lot lately. People asking about mastery being like super good now or something.
Yeah.
And I think mastery relatively is still pretty even overall, but I do think people didn't have much mastery previously, so it seems like a
Definitely not.
much more desirable.
A lot of
people are
people are at the
checking-
point where if you would switch to mastery Uldir buff, like the array shit, they would end up with haste being the same value as mastery before. So they're pretty much even on the stats. It's just showing mastery very high because that's how it is right now. They can
Yeah,
probably
I
get
can
a bit
definitely
more
add any-
mastery over item level, but that's about it.
Yeah, I have pretty like decent gearing options, and I've hit the point where I'm able to like Raidbots is wanting me to like mix and match gems
Yeah.
to try to completely optimize like where my array falls with whenever I have like elemental whirl and all the other shit
Mm-hmm.
rolling. So it's definitely mastery's pretty good. It's still a little bit worse than haste. It's a little bit better than crit. Overall, I think it does, like Goosey said, make gearing significantly easier. And then we have Arcanic Pulsar. So Nick, tell us a little bit about Arcanic Pulsar. Kind of explain what it does. Kind of
Alright.
explain why it's good.
So basically the trait, if you get one of it, it basically every Star Search you cast, you get one stack, one buff. It's a buff, and you get one stack at 8 or 9 stacks. 9, right? Yeah. At 9 stacks, you get 6 seconds of your cooldown, which is either being Incarnation if you have Skilled Incarnation or Soul of the Forest. Oh, well, yeah.
Celestial Alignment.
Celestial Alignment if you have Soul of the Forest or Star-Lord.
Yeah.
So it's like a one-off trait. You definitely want one at all time, but you never want to stack it because the duration doesn't stack, only the damage part. Oh, it also gives damage to Star Search, which is pretty minor. They buffed it, but it's still just there.
I have like
right?
a 385 and it gives me like 1500 extra damage on Star Surge every
It's a
single time
decent chunk of damage.
I mean, sure.
It's
I
not
mean, it's
worth
like,
it to stack it though. That's the point.
It's like 2% increased Star Surge damage. It's probably like 0.5 to 1% damage increase overall.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's obviously not what you're looking for. You're looking for 100%, like what Nick said.
Yeah.
The passive part with the Star Surge and equals the cooldown effect is really, really powerful overall.
Yeah, but not having one compared to having one is definitely worth it. Like,
Yeah.
it's how much is it? Like
Yeah.
30 item level or 40?
Like 40 or 50.
around 30. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
it's
really?
pretty
It's only
significant.
I thought it was like 40 or 50.
It's gonna be 45-ish whenever we have the new ring. And we have that,
yeah, with triple
it's-
streaking, right?
with accessibility to multiple streaking stars traits going into the new raid. Pulsar's value is going to be significantly increased overall.
It also aligns good with streaking, right? They play together really
Yeah,
well.
it makes streaking even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to like pre-nerf streaking almost.
Not yet.
Almost, not like quite, but almost.
Also, I think they nerfed...
It'll be back to pre-nerf streaking once we are able to get 3.
Question to
single
you,
stacks.
Turtles.
Single stack streaking is just pretty meh overall, but it is really strong still.
Did they nerf Pulsar in PvP? I'm pretty sure they did, right?
Yeah.
They did. So
Like,
it's got
happening.
so whenever it first came out, they put a negative 50% modifier on it, and then this last week they put a negative 10% modifier for a total of negative 60 modifier on Pulsar and PvP.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense, right?
I don't think you play it. I didn't like it before because I thought so like almost 100% of the value from Pulsar and PvP is the Star Surge direct damage stuff, but I preferred Laser Matrix and Battlefield Focus. But I don't know.
Is Battlefield
play
Focus
Pulsar
still
still.
that good?
Yeah, Battlefield Focus is a lot of damage.
Yeah, okay.
You only get it on 2 armor slots, right? So
Yeah. So there's like I always pick Laser Matrix, but you can take Pulsar.
Makes sense.
So back to more PvE discussion. What do you think Pulsar changes from Moonkin's like moving forward, Goosey?
well, like how it changes the rotation.
Not just how it changes the rotation, but how does it change like gearing choices, like what we're going to be looking for in BOD, and like in the meantime looking for in Uldir. Actually, no, we'll get to BOD a little bit later. What do you think it like changes in the meantime looking into Uldir?
Well, right now you really want one. Like without one, it shoots your damage quite a bit. Like it's like a 700, 800 DPS increase, like in Sims. And it also just allows you to set up burst windows during like damage increase phases or ad spawns, like stuff like Zepaz, for example. You can have going into dotting all the ads up, which is pretty big.
Let's try to unpack that for a little bit. What do we think about these increased damage windows? Do we think that Pulsar and delaying a burst damage window is ever going to be worth?
No, not really. Unless like it kind of lines up, I guess.
Okay. So like something like Mithrax, if you had the weapons spawning in like 10 seconds, but you were at like 80 AP, would you drop a Starfall to delay your cooldown, or would you?
I think 10 seconds is too long.
Yeah, definitely too long.
Okay.
If it's like 4 or 3, probably. But at that time, you could just cast another Solar Rev to get it like 88 or 90 AP and stay there.
I mean, the opportunity cost is what? Losing like 200 DPS maybe?
It might even not be worth, like, not that bad to overcap.
Starfall
like,
there?
No, overcap just a few AP.
Okay. I mean, yeah, no, that might be a
compared
viable
to
option.
compared to star falling.
Especially
Yeah.
if the ad damage is important. Yeah.
Exactly. If you really
Yeah, I
want
guess
to delay it,
it really depends on the
sure,
fight.
but not that long, not 10 seconds.
Yeah. The point is, most of the time, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
To delay.
Yeah. All right, and we got Twin Moon nerf. Definitely one of the more interesting changes, especially since we still end up playing Twin Moon a lot, even though Stellar Drift kind of seems better sometimes. Twin Moon practicality is just entirely too strong. So basically, in short-lived ads that you're dotting frequently, dotting early, and live, I don't know, 20-ish seconds, Twin Moon is still the premier talent choice, which is not great because it got a 50% damage nerf. But a lot of the value still did come in that Lady and the Child legacy effect of
the double Moonfire, just so strong.
Yeah, I don't know. That talent seems almost really oppressive on that row in terms of like AoE, just because of the double Moonfire, and it's going to always feel bad to not be able to play with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just no time where like you're laying Starfalls down the entire fight. Like, it's just completely sustained, especially when Starfall's so weak.
There is a world where there is sustained like 4, 5, 6 targets. Like you said, that's practicality speaking. There's no chance to ever really play Stellar Drift, even if it is better.
Yeah, there's no way. I don't see it in beauty either. But we can get to that later.
And Mythic Plus, you never.
Yeah, there's no way you run it in Mythic
I got a lot of questions asking if we should take Soul of the Forest Stellar Drift now again, but it just doesn't seem worth it for Mythic Plus.
Oh no. And then you also don't want Stellar Flare in Mythic Plus either. Stellar Flare in Mythic Plus is also like a huge.
You still want AoE and single target damage, right? So
yeah,
Twin Moons gives you both.
We're gonna hit on Mythic Plus in a little bit, but yeah, Twin Moons does give you both, pretty much, is what you're gonna be looking for. And then so we got the Power of the Moon and High Noon changes. Goosey, do you want to lay those out first?
Well, right now, like when we only have 3 traits, it's not that important. Like they're okay right now in terms of AoE damage. But once we actually have 6 traits and we can get Pulsar, 3 Streak, we can maybe get a Potom trait and maybe a High Noon trait, and they'll be pretty good, especially with all the multi-dotting in the next raid.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. So basically, the trait changed from direct damage to damage over time, which is pretty important overall. Makes it a little bit more balanced of a trait in terms of like how it's balanced, because direct damage traits promote a pretty degenerate playstyle. Spamming dots is like not the most engaging thing. As much as I love running around, losing my mind sometimes, spamming dots is not exactly what you would call pinnacle of balanced gameplay.
Not really, no.
Yeah, no. But like Goosey said, I think right now I don't think there's like any way that we end up playing a Power of the Moon trait. Actually, no. I take that back. I think one Power of the Moon trait is okay right now in Mythic Plus. I think anything more than that is a little bit overkill. High Noon is probably not super sick. But
Archive is just better. Archive is so good. And we only have 3 traits.
Yeah, no, we can use this as a segue. I think we can wrap up this 8.1 changes real kind of quick and say balance is in a really, really good spot right now. I would give moderate concern to getting nerfed. I think there's probably like a 90% chance that we're going to get some form of a single target damage nerf at this point. Maybe just like a negative aura, because they did kind of slightly overbuff us with Pulsar and Mastery Coefficient changes. They were both needed, but we're a little bit strong damage-wise right now.
Especially if you think about it, we have like one of the strongest traits right now, I would say, Dazar'alor-wise. And with the new ring, we just get stronger, way stronger. Like with 3 times streaking, you're going to be so much damage on your burst. It's going to be insane. So I could see a nerf on streaking at least.
Yeah, and something for all the people out there listening, I want you guys to look in the dungeon journal. I want you to look at the Azurite pieces that come off the first 3 bosses, and I want you to describe your level of excitement if it stays like that in the next raid.
Oh, I hope it stays like that.
Don't spoil it for them. It's really good though.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, so Moonkin looking really strong moving forward. I'm slightly concerned about us getting nerfed. So, okay. So how is Moonkin now in Uldir and in Mythic Plus? So let's start with Mythic Plus actually. I'll try to lay it. So basically Moonkin got a very minor nerf on AoE. Twin Moon nerf, Pretty much the only AoE nerf we got. We got a slight buff by being able to wear mastery gear, because mastery scales a little bit better on AoE as opposed to crit or versatility. So as a secondary stat, mastery got a little bit better. So we got a little bit damage up there, not enough to counter the Twin Moon nerf on AoE. So we're a little bit down there. Lively Spirit got nerfed. That kind of takes us down a peg. We didn't talk about that in the 8.1 changes, but Lively Spirit got nerfed pretty heavily. Lively Spirit got nerfed, so that takes us down a peg too in terms of our burst. But Archive is still good. You can still play one Power of the Moon trait if you have that. You can play a triple Lively if you have that and are in a coordinated group. And you can play secondary stat trait. Additionally, in some dungeons like Under Rot Sethralis and King's Rest, I would recommend playing one Pulse, because that is a pretty Star Search heavy dungeon. But overall in Mythic Plus, I think balance is in a better spot. I think it is improved over what it was last patch, even though our burst damage is a little bit lower. I think our sustained AoE is very similar, with our sustained single target being significantly higher and more comparable to some of the melee classes like Demon Hunter and Rogue. And that sounded scripted whenever I read that, but it wasn't, I promise. Do you guys have any thoughts on Mythic Plus? Have you guys been running Mythic Plus?
Tiny
not really
bit.
outside
Like,
of the weekly.
I'm doing my weekly key, and maybe like if I get asked, I do like 1 or 2 more, but it feels okay. I can't say it's bad. It's pretty good.
Our damage is
No.
okay. We're still really good just because of Treants, though, especially on the crowd.
Balance is definitely a tier 1 Mythic Plus class, not just because of trance. So basically, Balance brings unique utility in the form of Solar Beam. Blanket Silences pretty much got gutted and removed whenever they removed Arcane Torrent. So Arcane Torrent got reworked from a silence to an AoE purge. Fine. But now there's a less availability of interrupts in most of these dungeons, especially in terms of like AoE interrupts for a lot of casters. So like Balance Druid with their AoE silence is like really, really powerful. Additionally, they have Typhoon, pretty good, interrupts a lot of casts. And then they have Treants, like Goosey said. So this is also like, all the dungeons were designed to really fucking destroy your tank. So yeah, Treants are pretty good this expansion. So yeah, Balance is definitely a tier 1 Mythic Plus class. Basically, Boomy, Demon Hunter, and Rogue is like the top 3 damage. Like if you want a well-rounded comp, that's the comp you're going to be looking for. That, and then Boomy's like interchangeable with Hunter and Mage.
Fire Mage is pretty good in Mythic Plus right now.
Fire Mage is always like okay. I mean, they're just damage bots. They don't really bring any utility or anything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Boomy and Uldir. Nick, lay it out for us. Hit us with it.
Oh my god. So I haven't rated that much since 8.1 dropped, but the time I rated, it felt really, really good. You just had like so much damage coming everywhere. Like even those 6-second windows from Pulsar, it feels so insane on some bosses. Like on Fetid, whenever he reaches the 50% mark and you get your 6 seconds windows, you just blast. You can see your damage meter going up. Like I usually top the meters at least once in the fight, or even at the end I'm just top 1 or 2.
Yeah,
so,
no, I'm so we're gonna segue this to Goosey after I'm done saying this, but I always finish Fed Devour either first or second in DPS, just behind our Frost Death Knight. And Frost Death Knight is 1, just sitting on the mass, because Frost Death Knight destroys that at that position. And 2, Frost Death Knight is way better than Moonkin on that fight, like traditionally speaking, but Moonkin is insane for Fed Devour. Goosey has been having a lot of success in Uldir since 8.1 dropped. You care to talk about our success in Uldir and what you think it's attributed to?
Well, the single target buffs just, Uldir is mostly single target, so the fact that it's mostly single target and we got huge single target buffs, we're one of the best range now in terms of damage. We have good multi-dotting, we have decent AoE. The only thing we kind of lack is burst AoE, so that kind of sucks, but the important parts of Uldir, like say Phase 3 Cahoon, we fucking blast. Like we are so good. Moonkin is really good right now.
Especially compared to 8.0.
I'm sorry, you go.
You tend to have way more damage. Like I remember in 8.0 you ended up like doing like no damage on P3 Goon, right? You did like not even, what was it, maybe 10k in the last phase or something on average.
Now I'm topping DPS.
I love topping DPS.
And now you're just topping P3. It's insane. It's literally insane. It's really good.
Dude, what are you talking about? I'm committing to like 1.5 million to 1.6 million damage, but I'll give you 7k HPS. That's all I can. That's all I can
Yeah, now
commit to.
I'm not healing at all.
I gotta correct you though, Goosy. You forgot about our AoE boss Zul, okay?
All right.
Do we? Okay, so do we think that balance not having burst AoE is an issue?
I don't
think
think so.
anymore.
So it was brought to my attention that most classes don't have spammable AoE, but balance does. But balance's spammable AoE to me feels really undertuned.
Is it spammable if you
It is
need to ramp
spammable.
up really hard? I don't know. There's so much time between your starfalls usually.
No. So think about it. Lunar Strike cleaves.
Oh, I mean, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And is spammable.
Yeah.
You always have like spammable dots,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
AoE dotting.
That's true.
And then you have Starfall.
I was
It
thinking
is
about
like it is
starfall
in,
alone.
for
Yeah.
most. Yeah, no. It's for all intents and purposes spammable. Right?
Yeah, you're
Is
right.
it-
Most of our spells do have AoE in some way.
While it is spammable, I don't think it's good.
Nah, definitely not.
No, our AoE's not like insane or anything.
I mean, you can see on
Besides
our
multi-dotting again.
like how much targets do you need to cast Lunar Strike unempowered to be worth it on
2.
AoE? Is
Two.
it 2? Okay, so it
Yeah,
definitely
2.
changed
But
till yeah, okay.
But Star Surge is 4.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. I don't know, man.
You-
Also,
I would still
Starfalling
you
is
still cast.
yeah.
Yeah, you cast Starfall on 4 targets without Pulsar.
So
You cast it on 5 targets with Pulsar. Like
so
what-
our
At 5,
main
it's only
main
equal.
AoE spell isn't worth it until you hit like 5 targets.
that's
Is it
that's
is it
so
good?
weird.
Is it good
compared to
AoE?
Legion.
I don't think it's good AoE.
No, it's not even.
A lot
good
of specs
AoE.
are like that though. They don't use their spenders, like their AoE spenders, until a lot of targets.
I mean, a lot of our AoE still comes from our dots and stuff, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And they are pretty much free.
So what are our expectations for Battle for Dazar'alor? So basically, right now, as Moonkin currently stands, I feel like we're probably going to be the best range DPS spec going into BOD, just in terms of like encounter design, spec design, everything.
Yeah,
Alright.
I mean, we're probably at least fighting for top range DPS with between Shadow Priest and Warlock. It kind of comes down to tuning, but looking at all the fights, they look very good for us. There's a lot of multi-dotting, a lot of single target priority damage,
Yeah.
which is like what we excel at, and we also are just tuned very highly in terms of damage.
So some of the most important fights are like Rastakhan and Jaina. What do you guys think about Moonkin on those fights?
Probably one of the best casters besides Warlock.
What would make
Yeah.
what would make Warlock better than Moonkin?
Just in general, I wouldn't say even better damage, but just in general
Yeah.
better. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know if they have more
Warlock does have-
survivability, but they tend to have like more damage, right?
I think that's something that's underappreciated in terms of Moonkin kit is the survival. So last expansion, it was Bear Form was like a big meme.
Mhm.
Bear Form and not Iron for Frenzy Regeneration was a huge meme. You could literally like self-sustain for like
it was
minutes.
broken.
yeah.
It was pretty good.
Even
It
now,
was broken. Let's say it was broken, to be honest.
I don't think I ever really go into Bear Form anymore.
You
no,
don't.
not at all.
I just heal myself.
I mean,
now.
if I know I get like a big ass hit, I might go into beer form just to have more HP.
I would have to. I think I would have to be overkilled, but for me,
Yeah,
I
I'd
bear
go to
form
Bear
for stuff like the Gahoon rocks
Like
falling.
if it's a really big hit.
Yeah, no, I like wild growth and then I bear form for rocks falling because that's like there's no point in me being in Moonkin form.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so what are the like the real strengths? Like what exactly are you saying for Battle for Dzar'alor that's going to be very well suited for Moonkin? I know you guys said multi-dotting. What else are you guys thinking that's going to be like super good? Is it more single target focused? Is it more AoE focused? Is it more dot cleave focused? What kind of a rate instance is it for our more inexperienced viewers?
There's a lot of spread, like cleave for dotting. There's a lot of priority damage, like an ad sponge. You have to kill it fast or you die. Stuff like that. Like say kind of like Vectis priority. We're top priority damage. At least I am usually in my raid. We're very good at that kind of stuff already. Like before the buffs, we were already topping that. And now with the huge buffs, it just looks very good.
Yeah,
Yes. Goosey
so-
said, it's mostly priority damage over like fully AoE fights, besides like a few ones. So you tend to have like more single target option, like windows where you need just nuke one add down. And as we said, our our AoE is not that good, but you don't need it in a BOD probably. Like there's not enough fights to need our AoE really, right?
I think
Usually
it's
when stuff are like things are stacked, it kind of
Like
just dies
what
anyway. It's
AoE
kind of a
fights
meme.
are in BOD?
yeah.
Like
Phase one
fully
Rastakhan, you
BOD
stack the
AoE
ads.
fights.
Oh,
I
none
I
I
can't
can
think
think
of
of.
one right now.
That boat one was kind of AoE, wasn't
I
it?
wouldn't say
No.
Rastakhan is AoE because it's only the first part, right? And then
First,
yeah.
first boss is AoE.
Yeah, okay. I haven't done that one yet.
It has
We
priority
skipped it.
damage too.
Yeah, no, it does have priority. Okay,
Okay.
so basically, what you should be looking to do is a Moonkin. So Moonkin's strengths right now are like they have like a really heavy single target priority damage, which is what Nick and Goosey were hitting on there. So basically, banking astral power and being looking to target swap to more priority target ads, especially as like they spawn, and like being able to dump astral power quickly is fairly important overall as a Moonkin. Additionally, in progression, you normally have a pretty decent amount of leeway in terms of your damage. Most bosses aren't a super heavy DPS check, so having this more safe style with restoration affinity and off healing is also very, very important for some fights, especially for guilds that have slightly worse healers. I know that Goosey was in SPK and pretty much like 6th healer for most of progression with with all his wild growth.
Resto Affinity is very good for Mithrax and Gahoon because it's just all rotting damage. I mean, Mithrax is kind of
restoration. Is restoration affinity going to be good for Jaina and Rastakhan though? I think Resto Affinity is really good for Rastakhan, right?
It's always
Rastakhan's
good. There's no reason to take Guardian Affinity in any fight.
Yeah, Resto is better defensively anyway, just for yourself, and it gives you the ability to help others.
Whenever I saw that restoration affinity like out heal the damage mitigated by Guardian Affinity, I thought that was nuts.
Yeah, Resto Affinity just.
So basically, Guardian Affinity is only ever useful if you are using the Frenzied Regeneration heal and need Iron Fur for some reason. Yeah, no, and you need Iron Fur for some reason. Or avoiding one-shots, which 100 to zeros are not very common.
No.
Unless you fuck up.
Uldir was all rotting damage.
I'm trying to think. I don't get 100 to 0 like ever.
No, you don't. Unless you literally fuck up and that's your fault. Most of the time. If you...
I'm trying to think. You don't even get 100 to 0 to Mythic Plus anymore. You get like 1-2 taps like a lot of the time.
What if you stand under a rock on Gahoon?
Yeah, literally your fault.
Then you get one shot.
Yeah, I think I've gotten 100 to 0 by that once, but I think that
I clipped it actually, so
you don't even get 100 to 0 by the pepperonis on Gahoon P3.
No, not anymore.
Yeah,
not if you're not ever.
No, I didn't even did progress. It only does like 70 or 80% of your health. Yeah, no, it only does like 70 or 80% of your health. But the issue is that you're rotting, so it just like kills you.
Also for BOD, Boomy has really easy ways to get good Azerite pieces and good gear because we have the first few bosses who just drop insanely good gear. So it's just your gear is very easy to get.
Yeah, but not making you look it up, but basically explaining like what the deal is with Moonkin gearing and BOD. The first 3 bosses basically give you all 3 streaking pieces that you need, and one of the pieces also has streaking impulsor. So basically, within the first 3 heroic or mythic bosses, you're completely done with your Azurite gearing for the whole entire tier or segment of the raid until you move up to this next progression level. Additionally, with it being on the first 3 bosses, it's pretty much free pickings, and you've got like the easiest route to the best gear imaginable.
Yeah.
Whenever we saw that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be changed. That might be changed. I feel like
that could be changed.
It might. But it's not only for us. I've heard that a lot of classes have like really good pieces in BOD, just not from the first. First bosses,
like BIS pieces are also like off the first 3 bosses, which it's like, no, fuck you, I'm taking them. But
yeah, rogues have nothing to say. Though. I'm sorry, I need those.
Melee versus range the next raid.
Yoink my neck.
Yeah, no.
It's like mega BIS. Thank you.
Gimme.
Gimme, try hard. All right. So what exactly are the cons for Moonkin and Battle for Dzar'alor? Have you guys seen any like major issues? I know there are a couple fights that are like really heavy movement. But do you guys think that it's like too much for a spellcaster like Moonkin, or do you guys think it's just like a significant? Some examples that come to mind are like the panda and the fire mage boss. That monkey boss was also pretty heavy movement. Rasta Khan had a decent amount of movement. Jaina had a decent amount of movement too, but Jaina was a little bit different in terms of design.
I think you can move around it and not like lose that much damage, especially since we are just tuned so highly right now. I don't think that's a problem. We kind of lack burst AoE though, in terms like if you're talking about cons, we lack burst AoE. Stacked AoE in general, we're kind of weak at compared to other classes.
But
we don't have.
Do you need burst AoE if there's no AoE?
But Fury of the Loon is ranged Blade Storm.
Yeah, if Blade Storm did like a fifth of the damage.
But what do you mean? It's ranged Blade Storm.
Yeah. It doesn't have Warlock Gate, so that could be kind of a problem.
Oh no! But
is Warlock Gate mandatory next expansion? Or next
we got White Charge of Global Cooldown. Just saying, that's all I need.
If there's another Gahoon, maybe.
I mean, if they resummon KJ, at least I got Wild Charge off the GCD.
Hell yeah, dude!
Don't do it.
So what do you think about Jaina for us, Nick?
Let me think. It's a while back since I did that boss. It felt really good.
At the
even
time,
with like 300 ping on the PTR. I did pretty well. Like, there's a bunch of priority targets you need to kill in the second phase. And you just tend to have the damage to burst them in the right time.
Isn't it AoE priority target damage, or is it single target priority? I thought it was AoE.
How is it AoE there? You have like one.
Oh, it's multi-dotting? Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. You don't need to instantly kill them, but it's multi-dotting and then targeting them at the right time. And we haven't seen P3 fully, and I can talk about what we saw in P3, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty fucking good. Boomy is I
don't like the fact that you're withholding information.
I have nothing to say on.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go on YouTube later and find some Chinese guild that killed it and then watch their POV.
No one killed it unless they used unless they used the cheats.
The Ret Pally thing? Yeah.
No, not the Ret Pally. It was more about walking through a fucking wall that you shouldn't walk through.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The fat shark screenshot. Yeah, I saw that one too. Yeah. So basically, that was our conclusion. Do you guys have anything else that you guys would like to talk on? Anything else you guys would like to say?
Don't nerf Moonkin.
Subscribe to Tales on YouTube.
Subscribe to Tales on YouTube.
No, not really. Yeah, don't nerf us at all, please. I'd like to be single target, best single target.
Okay. Okay, so let's not get ahead of it. What would be an okay nerf to the point where we're still like probably the best range DPS, and then what would be like a really, really bad, like this is kind of concerning nerf?
Probably
a really bad nerf.
Oh, you go first, Goosey. Sorry.
Would be like nerfing Arcanic Pulsar and also Aura nerfing us. Like just putting Pulsar into the fucking dirt, and then Aura nerfing us. That would be
pretty
really bad.
Yeah. I think a decent one would
if
be
if they hit us with both and just completely nerf us
back.
Yeah. I think nerfing Streaking is a decent nerf that we could live with. I think
nerfing Star Surge would be a better one.
It's more about do you really want to nerf the base kit?
I think it's about burst. It's about the burst windows that it creates.
I think nerfing the base kit is a bad way if your only gain is from Azerite pieces alone, like most of your gain. You should just nerf the Azerite pieces.
Yo, what are you talking about? All of our damage comes from our base kit anyways.
I know, base kit is boring as fuck, and you know it.
Alright, dude. Like, talents only make up for 17% of our damage.
Compare this to that build and tell me it's not boring as hell.
That build was the best build.
That build had so much to min-max.
I even liked, like, Safu's OI. I even liked IFE OI. Like, I don't know. I thought they were all, like, decent fun.
Everything but a meta back in
so the deal with that though was that you had I don't want to say unlimited movement. That's not right. You had controlled movement, and you had control over your movement in terms of like being able to pull procs appropriately, right?
Let's be real. If you
Now-
played correctly, you had unlimited movement.
It was just
With
fun.
that
No,
build.
no,
It was
not with dad
sarcastic.
build. Not even just with dad build. With
Close to
OIIFE.
unlimited.
With
Okay.
OIIFE,
Yeah,
you
okay.
had, for
That's
most
true,
intents and
that's true.
purposes, unlimited movement.
Yeah.
Dad build literally made it unlimited.
Even
That
Petals
was
could play
like-
dad build.
God, I miss that
Wow.
build.
I was not actually that sick, but granted, I didn't play a lot of Antorus farm.
Oh yeah, I remember your gear sucked in Antorus, and your weapon
my
Yeah,
was...
gear
mine
was-
was worse.
So my gear was trash. Okay, here was the linear progression of me after progression. So I finished rating. They announced the MDI, right? We qualify for the MDI. Then I leave my guild. And then I take a week off in between. Join a new guild, raid a week, take a week off for time trials, raid a week, raid another week, leave that guild because I wasn't enjoying it.
You might get kicked off and failing the try. Yeah, correct.
I did not fail my.
Alright.
You cannot say that. I did
Everyone
not
on
fail my
YouTube is
trial.
listening
Please.
to this or
No,
reading this.
stop.
Tells failed his try in
Wrong.
alacrity. So
I did not
everyone
fail my-
knows. He's
Dude,
lying
you're gonna
about
make people.
it.
You're gonna make people
Cut the feed,
believe
cut
that I
the feed.
failed
That's what
my
I'm
try.
trying.
You're telling people this.
All
You're
right.
telling people that.
Well, you did
What's
fail
wrong
your
with you? I hate you. Oh my god.
It's
Okay.
fine.
Anyways, I didn't raid for 2 weeks because we were doing MD, and then I left for Ireland for like a month and a half, and then I came back and then I played dad build. However, 2 months later.
And in the
You forgot
meantime,
to
I got
include
like...
when you four-manned MDI.
Oh no. Sinking ship.
Sinking ship, man.
In the meantime,
you
I got
still
like
have
the
better
best
gear
gear
than
out
me.
of Antorus at the
Sinking
end.
ship, Moonka wings. Oh, dude. Okay, Goosey and I had the struggle. I'm
Still
the
have better gear than me after all
I
that.
I have been the benefactor of personal loot. I am 389 item level equipped with 391 and a half item level max equip. I am very geared, sirs.
All I'm
I'm
saying
like-
is PvP owns.
I'm like the 4th or 5th most geared person in the world whenever I equip
A
everything.
waste of potential right there.
Yeah, pretty much wasted.
Just
potential.
wasted. Tells.
All right. All right.
It's enough, I think. I had fun in
I'm
Antorus
sorry.
with my retarded gear and
I did not have fun.
literally outsimming everyone, but yeah.
Are you guys having fun right now?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I do damage now. My
I
spec
love
does
farming AP all day, ha 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 ha. End it all.
What do you guys think about Okay, I understand the criticisms. I think the game is not super great. I do think it's better than where it was in terms of where it was in this point in Legion.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about where it was, but they're repeating their mistake.
It's definitely worse than Antorus, and they are repeating their mistakes, but it's not that bad. It's pretty bad.
It's worse because they're repeating their mistakes. That's the main problem.
Okay, the issues in the Mythic Plus also triggered the shit out of me, but it's all fixable. It's just stupid issues that they shouldn't be.
As long as they don't bring back Tomb of Saguras in EFA.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
another
resummoning Kill
Kill
Jaden
Jaden.
just for you.
Don't do it. I don't want.
All right.
I don't want to wipe 600 times on a boss. Thanks.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining us today. Thanks, Goosey. Always
Thanks,
appreciate
Goosey.
you. Where can we find?
In the Dream Grove. That's where you can find me.
They can also message you.
Read his
in-game.
guide, please. Thanks.
Oh,
He writes a good guide.
Goosey Druid also maintains the Dreamgrove GG guide. Very gracious. I didn't have to write that, so I got all the time to write the Wowhead guide this expansion. I am very thankful for Goosey. I was worried that I was gonna want to write the Dreamgrove GG guide, make YouTube content, and then also maintain the Wowhead guide. And I was actually kind of concerned, but I'm actually very happy with how Goosey's doing. So read his guide.
You
Shit
can
owns.
also message me in game. Tettles, hi Joel. Shoot me a message. I'll review your logs.
Goosey, because he's no longer Goosey Druid. Goosey of Zul'Jin, U.S. Horde.
Vodka Z.
Shoot him a tell in game. Yeah, Vodka Z.
Wave at him.
Nick, where can we find you? What do you guys say?
Usually in the Dream Grove, as said before. And if you want to say hi in game, I don't think you can say hi in game because German realms are dead. Our realm is dead. No one plays on a Nixia. But if you want to say hi, Nick Druid on a Nixia EU. Yeah.
And as always, Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Twitch.tv/Tettles is my Twitch. Check me out on all the social media down in the description.
Where's your private Snapchat?
I don't have one of those. I do file all my shit with the IRS. I'm filing my Patreon. I'm filing my Twitch. I'm filing my YouTube. I'm filing all my shit with the IRS. Please do not report me. I do not want to get audited. I'm gonna pay my taxes. I promise. Dude, okay. This is off topic, but Twitch streamers were getting their private Snapchats reported to the IRS.
No, what the fuck?
Yeah, and audited.
Oh my
like
God.
literally audited.
Monkers.
It's like, yeah, no, so okay, none of that shit. Thank you guys for watching the video.
Yeah, thanks.
Stay subscribed for more content. I blew up my power supply. I want to make like a rotational guide soonish. Also get back into Mythic Plus analysis. So whenever that gets resolved, I ordered a new power supply. Should be here in a couple more days. So whenever that gets resolved I have a little bit more time after the holidays and stuff. I'm going to start making more videos. Rotational guide should be coming out probably in the next couple weeks, hopefully, barring any issues. And that should be that. Cool. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Later, guys.
Bye.
See you guys.